Hello, my name's Jessica, and today I'll take you to discover the history of a grain that nurtures half the world's population. Rice, a staple food that has moulded cultures, shaped economies, and nourished humanity for millennia. In fact, rice has fed more people over a longer period of time than any other crop. Global rice production in 2024 is projected at a record of 520.9 million tonnes, which will be consumed by 3.8 billion people. With such staggering numbers, rice deserved a special broadcast. Welcome to Food History Pills. Roughly 10,000 years in the past, during the transition from Pleistocene to our present geological era, a community of hunters and gatherers near China's Yangtze River initiated a transformative shift in their lifestyle by adopting rice cultivation. Surprisingly, fragments of this rice have been discovered by archaeologists at a location called Shangshan. Although the grains were consumed millennia ago and the plant stems have long decayed, a minuscule remnant of the rice endures even after thousands of years. Plylostics. These are minute, resilient pieces of silica produced by plant cells for self-protection. The distinct patterns found on these pyphosits indicate that these inhabitants of Shangshan were not merely collecting rice, but actively cultivating it a millennia ago. The pivotal change would go on significantly to reshape human dietary habits, ultimately leading to a situation where half of the global population relies on this essential crop today. In India, archaeologists discovered that rice cultivation in this country could be dated back to 4530 BC. However, the record mention originates from China in 2800 BC. The Chinese Emperor Shennong realised the importance of rice to his people, and to honour the grain he established annual rice ceremonies to hold at sowing time, with the emperor scattering the first seeds. Although we cannot identify China, India or Thailand as being the home of the rice plant, indeed it may have been native to all, it certainly originated in Asia. Thanks to early domestication, Asian rice gradually spread through Central Asia and the Indian subcontinent. This was not a sudden shift at all. It happened across thousands of years, thoroughly being integrated into all cultures across Asia. In Southeast Asia, rice became synonymous with life itself. Rituals, festivals, and even mythology grew around this grain. In fact, many folklores tell the origin of rice. For example, in Myanmar, it's said that the Kachins of northern ancient Burma were sent forth to the centre of the earth. They were given this seed of rice and were directed to a wondrous country where everything was perfect and where rice grew well. On the other hand, in China, they believe that once a terrible flood destroyed the earth and all sources of food gone, until a dog ran out through the land, giving everyone it passed rice seeds that hung from its tail. Once planted, it cured all hunger. Some cultures associate rice closely with their gods. According to Shinto belief, the Emperor of Japan is the living embodiment of Ninnago Makito, the god of ripened rice plants. While most modern Japanese may intellectually dismiss this supernatural role, they cannot deny the enormous cultural importance of rice on their life or in their country. And so, it is much more of the rice world. It is theorised that rice was introduced to Europe through Alexander the Great's journeys into Asia around 320 BC. Much later, during the 8th century AD, the Arabs, along the ancient trade routes, brought rice into the Middle East Africa, and finally Europe through the Iberian Peninsula. While in Africa, rice took root alongside indigenous varieties and started to shape regional dishes and local knowledge in rich cultivation techniques. In Europe, it became a prized delicacy, influencing culinary practices and enhancing regional diets. While initially being introduced into Portugal, rice spread across the Mediterranean into Italy, where, out of most of the European cultures, it became the most thoroughly integrated into the Italian cuisine. Think about the delicious risotto. As the Europeans started globalizing their empires through colonialism, rice was introduced as the New World. During the 17th century AD, this rice, however, was not just Asian rice. In fact, Asian rice was the lesser of the two domesticated species. Initially transported by Spaniard slave ships, West African slaves brought African rice into Latin America through Spanish colonialist endeavours. Eventually, also through the slave trade, rice was introduced to the southern colonies in North America. Both rice species were present, but African rice was more important. Some historians believe that the rice travelled to America in 1694 in a British ship bound for Madagascar. Blown off course in the Sales harbour of Charleston, South Carolina, friendly colonists helped the crew repair their ship. To show his gratitude, the ship's captain, James Thurber, presented Henry Woodward, the interpreter of the colony, with a quantity of rice seed. But during the American Revolution, the British occupied Charleston area and sent home the entire quantity of harvest rice, failing to leave any seed for the following year's crop. The American rice industry survived this setback and cultivation continued thanks to President Thomas Jefferson, who broke an Italian law by smuggling in rice seed out during our diplomatic mission in the late 18th century. The rice industry transplanted itself to the Carolinas, to the southern states surrounding the Mississippi Basin, where plantations started to flourish. The Industrial Revolution brought about mechanised farming, new varieties, and expanded global trade. Rice was no longer confined to regional markets, but reached tables worldwide. Today, rice is more than a food staple, it's a symbol of cultural identity, economic stability, and global interconnection. Challenges of sustainability, climate adaptation, and fair trade shape its future, while research institutions like the International Rice Research Institute work tirelessly to develop high-yielding varieties combating hunger and poverty. Looking ahead, the future as rice is full of promise and uncertainty. Advances in biotechnology, sustainable farming practices, and global collaboration hold the keys to the next chapter of this extraordinary grain. Thanks to its long, rich history, there are tens of thousands of unique variations of rice, an unimaginable number of recipes that come from so many different cultures around the world. And even if maize and sugarcane may beat rice in the raw tonnage produced, rice is easily the most culturally significant food in the entire world. Rice, its journey from wild grass to a global staple, is a reflection on our ingenuity, aspirations, and timeless connection to the land. There you have it, it's over. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay always updated with our content here on History Food Channel. And remember, eating's a privilege. Enjoy it. Bye.